We have another wonderful guest to bring in, and it is Sean Hannity. Thank you so much for being with us, Sean. We had this interview with Robert Costello. He testified in front of Congress yesterday. A lot of people might not have seen congressional testimony, but what did you take away from what he said to all of us just a moment ago?
Dana, I can only use one word. First of all, great interview. Watch you guys every day. Love your show. It was devastating. I mean, what he is saying here, frankly, if they don't bring him in as a witness, I think it would be insane. The grand jury issue is very, very telling, as I think Andy McCarthy has been pointing out, and his analysis has been great, as has Jonathan Turley's analysis, as has Greg Jarrett's, as has Alan Dershowitz's. But think about this. He is saying that, oh, no, his motivation was Melania. He's also saying, I did this on my own. He is basically contradicting the whole story, impeaching all of the testimony, and frankly undermining the entire case of the prosecution from top to bottom here. The jury needs to hear from Bob Costello. They need to watch your interview, to be very, very frank with you. They need to watch his congressional testimony and hear his opening statement, which was equally devastating to me. You know, when you put together all of this, and you look at Stormy Daniels, for example, there was a lot of salacious innuendo and her joking and her demeanor and so on and so forth. Here's the problem. You know, this Biden donor judge allowed this to come up in this case. All of it is irrelevant. All of it is immaterial. None of it has anything to do with the rule of law. None of it has to do with the charges at hand. All of this is based on, quote, a bookkeeping error that was a misdemeanor whose statute of limitations have passed, and they try to upgrade this into a felony using this obscene and frankly unprecedented, legal theory of theirs. None of the law has been explained to the jury in all of this. And I think Professor Dershowitz on my show the other night really made a great case about this. You know, the idea that Michael Cohen, for example, taped his client. Well, okay, in the case of Bob Costello's pointing out he waived attorney-client privilege. Donald Trump did not waive attorney-client privilege with Michael Cohen. Why would an attorney be taping their own client and then it being used in a court of law? That is insanity to me. And what Dershowitz said is, well, there needs to be a lot of discussion, and they need to dive deep into the question of, okay, well, what were the conversations with the prosecutors and Cohen like in the lead up to this trial? Because the Michael Cohen that's on the stand is obviously well prepared. If I had to guess, and it's only a guess, I'd say he probably spent, hundreds and hundreds of hours preparing for his testimony. Now, they impeached that within seconds by just showing the real Michael Cohen on TikTok and on his podcast, wanting Trump in jail, using every, phrase that, let's say, New Yorkers often use that is not exactly flattering. Dana, I think you can relate to that a little bit.
Yes.
And understand it. But, so that was the real Michael Cohen. I think with the jury, Michael Cohen is finished. I think Stormy Daniels did not come off as credible. But here's the problem. You've got a judge that clearly is compromised and should have recused himself. He donated to Biden. The issues over the work of his daughter come into play. Then you have, of course, he's going to give jury instructions. What are they going to be? All of this is going to be very instrumental. It's a city, it's a venue where 9 out of 10 voters are registered Democrats. I said from the beginning, I don't think Donald Trump can get a fair trial in this venue. I don't think he can get a fair trial in D.C. I don't think he can get a fair trial. I lived in Georgia for 4 years. I don't think he can get a fair trial in Fulton County, Georgia. Not that I think any of these cases will ultimately make it to a courtroom. Look, not to be too long-winded, Bob Costello is devastating. He needs to be called as a witness. The jury needs to hear from him.
Yeah.
And they need to have the law explained to them. This is a bookkeeping error upgraded to a felony. How did they come to this legal theory? If Jonathan Turley, Andy McCarthy, Alan Dershowitz, Greg Jarrett, and every basic Fox legal analyst and every analyst even on fake news CNN can't even tell you what Donald Trump is being charged with completely. That is a problem with our legal system. And this goes to the heart of what conservatives have been arguing. The Department of Justice under Joe Biden has been weaponized. The idea that the third highest ranking official in Joe Biden's Justice Department left that prestigious role, number 2 behind Merrick Garland, to go to New York to prosecute Joe Biden's opponent in this election, that should shock the conscience and soul of a nation. We are not a banana republic. We are a constitutional republic. And the fact that lawfare and weaponization of the law and we're supposed to believe in equal justice under the law and equal application of our laws. That is not happening in this current state of America. That's on the ballot in 172 days, guys.
Thank you, Sean. Nice to have you on
today.
But
who's counting?
Yeah, I think McCarthy is still undefeated in his legal judgment so far. Turley's saying that they should make a motion to dismiss to the judge immediately after testimony concludes. I can't see this judge doing that, but we'll see whether or not that happens. Sean, thanks for that.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.